there, everybody. Welcome to Gardening TLC. I am Michelle, and today we're going to work in the garden, and we're going to start working on this transition bed right here that's on the side of my house. This bed is going to connect my front garden bed with the cottage garden, and I've been really excited to put this one together. I've been gathering a lot of plants. I did a preliminary design this winter. We put the wall in last fall, so I'm really excited to get this planted up. So if you want to see what we're doing, come along today and you can check it out. Come on. We are going to start right here in the front bed. We worked on this a couple weeks ago. We got everything planted up, all the annuals, some more Veronica, and then the helicopters came down. I spent the last 2 days after work cleaning up helicopters, and as you can see, I didn't even come close to getting them all. And I think I'm going to leave it like this. I think this will be fine. We still have to go through and mulch the beds. But as you can see, the front garden is now done. I did get the annuals planted on the other side, and I ended up planting some supertunias, and I used saffron finch, and I used royal velvet, so I kind of did every other one, lining the walk, and that will totally fill that in. And then I did the plain and the blue salvia behind that, and then I put the cleomes in over here and did a nice row of those. And I still want to plant a little something something in front of those. I did plant them back just a little bit further this year so I could do that. But all in all, outside of mulching this bed, it pretty much is done. We've got some beautiful peonies getting ready to bloom over here. Aren't these gorgeous? These are Sarah Bernhardt's, and I just think that these are the most beautiful pink peony. I just love them. Now, I'm going to swing around the corner and you're going to see something new that I got. Check it out. I got myself a statue. This is Diana. Isn't she great? I love her. And so we positioned her here in the garden. This is where we have our little Sprite winter berries. We have 3 purple pillar hibiscus right here, and then our 2 not looking so great emerald green arbovitas. I did fertilize them, so we're hoping that maybe some of that browning that's in there, maybe if we can push some new growth on there, they'll make it. We're going to give it another probably 45 to 60 days and see how they do. If they don't start shaping up though and looking good, we'll be pulling those out of there. Now, I love the Diana here. Isn't that great? All right, what we're going to do though is we are going to work on transitioning the bed. I backed up a little bit so that you could see how you come around the corner here. So you come around the corner, and then we, step down the flagstone, and we're going to come around the corner here to this bed right here that transitions into the cottage garden. Now, we did do a design on this winter, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to pop that design up for you. Now, we are going to have a little bit of a path that grows through here, and we're going to plant behind the wall and in front of the wall. We're also going to work on how do we soften the line of boulders using plants so that it doesn't look like a straight line coming through here. The other thing is I am thinking that I'm going to plant maybe a tree right here. I haven't decided, so I'm going to kind of hold off on that. I might actually go get the tree, set it in place, and see if I like it. I'm thinking that if I do put the tree there, it's probably going to be like a crab, and I'm thinking a prairie fire, which would be really nice. And then I don't want this to be so wide right here, so I'm going to soften the edges here with some bushes, and those weren't in the design. And I have made a few changes to the design since I did it, and that happens. Because one of the things that I absolutely love is last year we did plant some things over here, like this Jacob's ladder. This is the proven winner, and you can see it did make it. It was like totally wilted down when we put it in the ground. And so I'm pretty happy that it made it. This is the heaven scent, and I really do like this Jacob's ladder, but I bought some more so I could add more of them to this area. And we have had some serious wind, and we had 2 hailstorms come down. Every one of my hostas are tattered and damaged, and it's such a shame because it's so early in the season. So one of the things that we want to do is in the design, one of the hostas stays, that one there, and another one down here stays, the strip tees. But we do have another one that we're going to dig up right here and move. And then I am absolutely heartbroken over how this oak leaf hydrangea is doing. We let this lemony lace elderberry, or not lemony lace, it's a black lace elderberry right there. We let it get way too big, and it grew over the top of my oak leaf hydrangea here, and it really suffered. So I haven't decided if I'm going to dig it out, see if it fills in a little bit. I'm not quite sure. I might have totally ruined the structure of that shrub, and I'm going to have to probably do something about that. So that's not for today. We'll think about that and what we want to do there. You can see that the entrance to the cottage garden is right here. And if you got zinnia seeds from me, this is one of the areas where we will be planting up zinnia seeds. So I'm pretty excited about that. Our woodchilla is looking absolutely gorgeous amongst all the weeds over here. And I think what I'm going to have to do is get some cardboard, get it down, get some compost on top, mulch it, and then smother this area out and not plant anything there this year. But I'm absolutely loving the cottage garden, and we will be doing some zinnia planting in here probably next week. It's been really cold here, so we're waiting for it to warm up a little bit. This is a transition into the cottage garden, which I have done zero work out here. I haven't cut the roses back. I haven't even cut my hibiscus back. I've done no weeding. I desperately need to get out here in this, and this will probably be a project for next week. This week, I'm going to try and get as much of this area right here done as I can. I have a big garden show this weekend, so I don't know how much I'll get done. With that, let's start getting some of the plants that we're going to put in this area. We're going to go over the specs, and then we'll start putting them in place. I think I'm going to put all the plants in place first, and then I think I'm going to do the boulder. So I'm going to do it a little bit backwards. I want to make sure that all the placement of where I'm going to put everything and the full size that it's going to get is going to work before I move the boulders in place, because I do not want to move those boulders twice. All right, let's go get our stuff. Last year we planted up this area with some Virginia, and as you can see here, some blue star junipers. Now, on the surface, this doesn't look too bad, but if you start like opening it up and looking underneath, it's pretty brown down in there. This was me hoping that as the sun traveled over the top of the house, that I was going to get enough sunlight. There's like 3 hours, and I know I'm really pushing it when I'm thinking a juniper is going to grow in 3 hours of sun, because they're not. I probably won't know whether or not they're going to survive until next year, but we're going to get them dug up, we're going to fertilize them, keep them well watered, and we're going to move them into the transition bed to give me some more blue over there. Now, the other thing I planted in this area were some Virginia. Do you see any Virginia? I'm so like, really, I cannot believe it. Not one of them came back. They're all gone. I mean, I can see like the little tuft of the crown, but nothing. I'm just like, oh, so I'm gonna have to find something else to put in this area. Stay tuned. We will be in the hosta bed soon enough. We are gonna dig these up and we're gonna move them over there. So let's get that done. Here are the 3 blue star junipers that we dug out. Now these grow in zone 2 through 8. They usually get anywhere from 12 to 16 inches above the ground. They have a round mounding habit with a little bit of layering going on. They don't get very big, maybe 2 to 3 feet across. Now I am going to clean these up and, put them in the ground. On the surface, they don't look too bad. But if you get closer, yeah. See all that brown in there? That's because Michelle thinks she has magic skills and she can make things that need sun grow in the shade. Well, guess what? Michelle's magic wand is not working and these need sun. So we're going to try and salvage them and we're going to hope that they live. And if they don't, they don't. But we're going to give it a try. Isn't this gorgeous? This is a Deutzia. We are going to be putting 5 of these in the bed. They're very low growing. This is the Yuki Cherry Blossom, and it's from Proven Winners. This guy only grows 1 to 2 feet tall. That means it's only going to get 24 inches, and it's going to get 1 to 3 feet wide, so a little bit wider than tall. It's got a nice mounding habit on it, and look at those flowers. Aren't those gorgeous? Now, they have a couple other ones, too. There's a Yuki White, there's a Yuki Chardonnay, but I really liked the pink on this one. And from what I've been told, they bloom for a really long time. I've never grown a deutzia, so this will be my first time growing this. These grow in zone 5 through 8. This is one of the plants that we're going to use to soften the edge of the path. So 5 of these, it's going to be fabulous to have these. Plus, I love the mounding habit. All right, the next one is also a shrub. Let's see if I can say this. It's quite the tongue twister. Picea pungens glauca globosa, which is a dwarf blue globe spruce. That's what I'm calling it. Look at that beautiful blue color. Now, we are taking a little bit of a chance this one, but I am planting it further up in the bed in that big pile of compost that I dumped in there, because if I try to grow this in heavy clay, I don't think it's going to survive. I really feel like the blue spruce, one, they don't like wet feet, they got to have good drainage, and they want good rich soil. So we're going to place this further up in the bed where we have compost. That way it'll drain. But isn't this gorgeous? Now this guy is going to grow 3 to 5 feet tall, and that's going to take 10 years. Now, most tags will tell you the 10-year size of a shrub. These can actually get bigger than that after 10 years, but it's going to get 4 to 6 feet wide, and that's a dwarf, you guys. So if you were to get a regular one, just know that these guys can get really big. So make sure you give them enough room to grow. Now, you can plant other things around them while you're waiting, because they're not the fastest growing shrub in the world, but you want to make sure whatever you're going to plant around it, it's going to be easy for you to move. All right, isn't this gorgeous? One of my blue elements. Love it. I did not say the blue globe is zone 3 through 7. Now, you are familiar with this one. I just planted this in the driveway bed. In fact, I stole the shrubs that I had put aside for this bed and put them in the driveway bed. I had 2 more at the garden center. I actually need a 3rd one, but you'll have to wait till next week when I go to the nursery and I'll pick another one up. This is a juniper. It's a ground-hugging juniper that only grows 10 to 12 inches above the ground, but it also has that beautiful blue foliage. It's going to grow anywhere from 8 to 9 feet out. So it is a ground-hugging kind of crawler, and we love this about this shrub. It's great for erosion control, it's great for blue color, and we are going to plant this in the garden to soften up some of the edges and to create like a little bit of a mat in here. Now, this guy is going to grow in zone 3 through 9, and both the blue globe and this juniper need 6+ hours of sun. And so the further out we go towards the middle of this bed, the more sun it's going to get. Because believe it or not, up towards the house, that's the north side of my house. And so right up against the house, it's shade. But when you come out to where the wall is and the walkway, that's all sun. Because guess what? The sun travels right over the top of this. And right now, there are no trees in this area. Now, I'm thinking about adding one, but it's going to be a little crab tree. So I don't know that it's going to, affect everything I grow. Plus, it'll take it, 10 years to get full size. I'm still not 100% on that, but we're going to put one in place and see if we like it. All right, so here you go, blue chip juniper. I'll tell you what, I'm pretty proud of these. These are the little plugs that we went and got back in January. These are the foxglove or the digitalis Camelot Rose. I grew these. How awesome is that? Now they need a little grooming at the bottom here, which we'll do, and we need to get them in the ground, and we have 8 of them, and we're going to put them in the bed, and you'll see where we're going to put them. I don't think they were in the design, but I knew all along when I went and got them that they were going over here. These guys want part sun, part shade, so they don't want hot blazing afternoon sun. Morning sun is really good for foxglove. They can handle some shade. These guys are growing in zone 5. They're going to get 36 to 48 inches high and 24 to 30 inches wide. That's how you're going to space them. If you're going to grow digitalis or foxglove, just know that this is a poisonous plant, all parts of it. I've never had any problem with animals eating it or anything like that. The one thing you also need to know is that this is not a perennial. It's what we call a biannual. So typically the life cycle of a biannual is that you grow it, the mother plant grows, and then it dies back to the ground. And then the second year it grows again and it flowers. Then it sets seed, it throws its seeds all over the place, and the mother plant typically dies. But then hopefully the babies that the seeds got thrown out from will grow and you'll perpetuate more of the digitalis, which is what I'm hoping is going to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant these this year, and then I'm going to plant them again next year. That way I kind of have 2-year cycle going on, and hopefully they seed, and I'll forever have foxglove. Yeah, we'll see. We're going to try it and see if it works. But I'm pretty happy that I grew this from an itty bitty plug. Isn't that great? I love it. And again, Camelot Rose is the color of this foxglove. And I don't know, can you see inside that little flower? Isn't that great? I'm pretty proud of this next one too, because I grew this one from the little plugs that we got in January too. And here it is. This is the Sahara Ascot Rainbow, and this is an euphorbia. Isn't that great? I love this. This was a nothing when I got it. I think this is gorgeous, and we're going to be putting these on the end of the path. I really got turned on to these when I went to see Erin's garden from the Impatient Gardener up north of Milwaukee, and she had these growing in her garden, and I loved them. Now, they're pretty semi-marginal for me here. They might or might not come back. It really will depend on what kind of winter we have. But because I grew them from plugs, I'm not out a lot of money, just my time to grow them. Basically, what I did with the both of these was I potted them up into bigger pots. I started with 3-inch pots, and I just had them on a table upstairs, and I kept them watered. I didn't put them under grow lights. I just let them get a little bit bigger. Then I went, like this one, I went into a gallon pot, and the foxglove I went into quart pots, and then I just kind of let them grow from there. We had them downstairs in the greenhouse for a while. Then I moved them out to the hoop house, and they've been sitting out there kind of screaming at me to get them out of their pots, and this is the first chance that I've had to get them planted. Now this guy here is going to grow 20 inches high and 20 inches wide. It's got that absolutely beautiful foliage on it. The plant wants to dry out in between waterings, and I just am in love with the color of this foliage. So I can't wait to put this along the edge of the border to soften the rocks, and oh, it's gonna look great. I will also be planting 3 mangavis in the garden as well. Erin also had these growing in the garden, and I thought it was fabulous. Just the different texture on there. These are from the Art and Soul collection from Proven Winners. This one is called Tooth Fairy. Isn't that great? I think that the texture on that is fabulous, and the color is awesome as well. And if you put them in full sun, it actually intensifies their color. This one here is called Lavender Lady. Isn't that great? Look at the little polka dots all up and down that foliage. I love it. And this last one is called Thunderbird. So we'll be adding all 3 of these to the garden along the edge. I don't know where they're going to go. I just know that they're going in the garden. A little while ago, I showed you 3 of the Jacob's Ladder Heaven Sent from Proven Winners, and we're going to be adding some more of them to the garden as well. Now, I didn't give you the specs on them. They're going to grow 18 to 24 inches tall, and you're going to space them 15 inches apart. They do grow in zone 3 through 7. These guys grow in full sun or part shade, and that's what they're going to get. But look at the little blue flowers that's all over them. Aren't those great? I love the little flowers, but I like the foliage as well, and it gets like these 2-tone colors going on in it. So when the flowers are done, I will cut it back like to the base foliage here. I just think that this is going to be fabulous in the garden. We have 3 already. We're going to be adding, I think, 3 or 4 more. So love this one. I did a short little series back in the winter called The Dirt, and I profiled some plants that I wanted to add to my garden. One of them was a geum, and this is it right here. Now, it doesn't have any flowers on it yet, but it will get flowers. I'll put a picture of the flowers up for you guys to look at. I will also put the specs up for this because they didn't come with any tags. But this one is the Tequila Sunrise, and we'll be adding 3 of these to the garden as well. Now, that geum wasn't originally in the design. I added that after I did the plant profile, and I decided that I wanted to have some geums in the garden. So that's why we are adding it, because I just was like, oh, I really like that. It's so sweet looking, and I want to add it to the garden. All right, the next one we're going to add is a butterfly bush. This is a sterile butterfly bush from Proven Winners. I don't have the best luck with butterfly bushes, but we're going to give it a try. Again, we're going to be planting this up behind the wall in the compost area, not down in the clay. Butterfly bushes for me really need good drainage. They also need to be planted a little bit higher so that the roots are just a little bit up, because if they sit in any kind of water, they're like dying. They don't come back. So we're going to give it a shot. If this butterfly bush doesn't make it next year, I will not replace it. It'll be like the 3rd or 4th time I've tried a butterfly bush here on my property, and so this is the last shot. If it doesn't make it in the raised part of the bed with the compost, it's not going to grow here. So we're going to give it a shot, see if it works. But let me go get the tag and the shrub so you can see which one we're putting in. Here it is, no pugster for me. We're going to do a Miss Violet. This guy gets 4 to 5 feet tall, so he's going to be set back in the bed as one of the anchor plants in the back with other things in front of it. He's absolutely gorgeous. Look at those pretty bright dark purple flowers on there. Now some of them are spent because the shrub one's out of the pot, and it will rebloom, but it'll keep blooming all summer long, and you don't have to deadhead it. These guys grow in zone 5 through 9. So if we get a really hard winter, they probably won't make it, but I want one so bad. Now, I know not everybody can grow butterfly bushes. These are sterile, they're by-proven winners, and I just want this to do well. Please grow, come on. You know you want to grow for me. All right, you think that was enough? I don't know. We'll have to talk to it and sweet talk it, because I really want this one in my garden. The last plant that was in the design was one of the grasses, and this is a Cereus autumnalis, or an autumn moorgrass. This is the cutest little grass, only growing 12 to 24 inches high. And we're talking the 24 inches is when it gets its little tufts of grass on it, but the actual like mound itself only gets like 12 to 18 inches high. So these are such cute little grasses to put in place. It's a clump forming grass, so it's not spreading all over the place. They grow in zone 4 through 8. It's cold hardy, it's tough, it's got thin evergreen leaves with varying shades of yellow, green, and blue. It's drought and frost tolerant. So pretty excited to add this one to the garden. I've grown it before lots of times, but I think this is going to be a nice addition to the garden. Give me some movement in there, a different texture. Loving it. All right, so the only other thing that we're going to add to this garden right now are some annuals. So let's talk about the annuals that we're going to put in place. We are going to do one little slow Sedona bowl. And then let's start placing things around and kind of seeing how it works out. And then see if we need to add anything else. All right, we're gonna use our picture as a reference for where we're gonna put everything. Let's take a look at the annuals that I grabbed real fast, and then we'll go from there. Oh, I do have some other ground cover things that we're gonna be putting in, some thymes, and I'll show you those, and some water peri blue veronica that's a ground cover. We're gonna use that as well to soften the edges. I have a flat of all 3 of them, but it's not all for this area. I'm gonna use it in different places throughout all the gardens where I have paths, but let me show you those real fast, and then we'll get to placing. I have 3 kinds of ground covers that I wanna use, one of them being lemon thyme. Lemon thyme basically grows 6 to 12 inches, and they're gonna grow anywhere from 12 to 18 inches across. So it's a nice little matting ground cover. It can take light foot traffic. When you brush up against it, it has a nice lemon scent to it. It is an herb. I can pick it and use it in my kitchen. Now, it does grow in zone 5 through 8, and we're going to be using this to soften the path and make it not look like such a straight line. We are also going to be using mother of thyme. Now, the difference between this one and lemon thyme is this one is truly hugging the ground, but it gets these little purple flowers all over it. 6 to 10 inches high, space them 12 to 18 inches apart. These guys are a little bit more cold hardy, zone 4 through 8, and all thyme wants to dry out in between watering, so they can handle like shallower areas to be grown in. So we got little plugs of all of this, even the lemon thyme. So we're just gonna plant those. Now the other one that we got is a water peri blue veronica. Look at those little bitty, they'll get these little bitty, can you see it, blue flowers all over them? This is also a ground cover veronica, and this guy is called water peri blue. But that's what the flowers look like on there. Isn't that great? It's a speedwell, and you can see here that it'll grow in part sun, full sun. It attracts butterflies, and it's growing in zone 3 through 8. We have 10 quart size plants that we can use. And it's gonna bloom June and July. So this hasn't bloomed yet, it's going to. And so that's another of the ground covers that we're gonna use. It's gonna be great. I love all the different textures. Last but not least, I do have some annuals. We brought over some proven winners, and we do have the lobularia. We're gonna plant the Violet Night, which is this one right here. Great in the ground, really gets pretty large as far as like the coverage, covered with these beautiful purple flowers. We planted it last year and absolutely loved it. I also have some of the white ones. This is the Snow Princess, and again, they're going to grow in full to part sun. They're going to get 10 to 16 inches high, and then the actual mass itself, I mean, it can get 2 to 3 feet. I've seen them get really big. Now, to have them do that, you really do need to feed them with fertilizer every single week. I also grabbed a few petunias just to have those along the edge as well. I grabbed Bordeaux and I grabbed Saffron Finch. So neither one of them are a Vista. They're just a normal petunia, but I like the two colors together, and I think they'll go well with all the other colors that we're putting in the bed. All right, let's start laying some things out to see kind of how this is going to look. The other thing I have that I didn't even mention is over here on the wall, you see that little Sedona bowl right there? Those are some of the little Viettes, black-eyed Susans that we dug out from the driveway bed. I thought maybe I'd see if any of those would fit anywhere in here. I don't know if I'm going to put them in, but I brought them over just in case. The other thing is I do have the low Sedona bowl that we're going to plant up with something. I'm not sure what yet, but I did bring that as well. The one thing I am missing is in the design, there is a red bud. I do not have the red bud. I can't find the one that I'm looking for. All I can find are these big ones, the red Appalachian and the forest pansy, and they're all too big. I don't want them to get that big. I need a smaller one. So I'm still thinking about what that's going to look like and which tree it is if I can't find that, or if I'm going to wait until I can find one. But I don't have the tree, so you won't see me put that into place. I now have everything in place, and I spray painted a white line that's going to kind of represent where the rocks go. I am going to be putting things on both sides of the rock, and that's how it's going to soften out that line, because it's not a very wide space. I want some things growing over the rocks. I want the rocks to peek through. Now remember, on this side of the rocks, we're going to be having more of the river rock in here, and then I'll get flagstone that you're going to walk on so that you know definitively where the path is going to be. Now this big wide area right here, that's what leads up to the opening of the she shed. I will be softening these areas up as well. I'm just not going to do that today. I'm still deciding, you know, do I want the red bud over here, or do I want the crab apple over here? And red bud, ornamental crab. Red bud, I don't know, I'm wavering more towards the ornamental crab and ditching the red bud over here. But then I feel like I need to have something else in its place. Now in the design, there's lungwort that was supposed to be there underneath the red bud. That was also one of the plants that I went and got in January in the itty bitty plugs. Well, yeah, I croaked those out too. So the echinacea and the lungwort, I don't know what I did wrong. I killed all 16 plants. Everything else I bought lived, but those 16, nope, lost every one of them. So I don't have a replacement lungwort to put in place of what I was going to put there. So I kind of spread the foxglove around instead, left an opening where the tree will go, and then I'll have to think about what I want to go there. I also left the baby Joe pieweed in place, and I did not dig out any of the hostas yet. So I'm just going to kind of live with this, see if I like it. I probably will end up digging up the hostas, especially the one, so that there's just one hosta there instead of two. But I just want to live with this for a little bit. But let's take a look at where I put everything, and then you guys can weigh in down below as well. And then the next time we're in this bed, which will probably be next week, then I will start planting things, putting the rocks in place, and I will have lived with it for about a week to decide if I love everything. Now, I did find a place for the black-eyed Susans, but I don't know that I'm going to put them there, because it's like the only yellow in the bed. So I'd have to figure out how am I going to tie yellow the rest of the way down? Because right now, that's all there is. And I don't want there just to be a blob of yellow at the end of the bed. So I have to think about that one too. All right, let's take a look. Okay, here we go. La, 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 la. Walking down the bed. We're going to go around the corner. And you can see right here is where the boulders end. And you can see where I did the white line. And that's where the boulders will pick up and keep going. So these will be about the size of the boulders that we're using. Now you can see as we come around the corner, I did draw that white line kind of in a wavy line. But by the time I put the boulders in there and put them side by side, they'll look like they're a straight line. And what I'm going to end up doing is putting things on either side of the straight line to give the illusion that it's a little more curved than it actually is. So once the boulders go in, I will probably space this just a little bit differently, but I kind of wanted to see what it looked like without the boulders first because I don't want to move them twice. All right, so you can see we dropped annuals in here. We've got our petunias. We've also added thyme down here. Right here, we've got the mother of thyme right there in the little plugs. Then we got some alyssum, and you can see there's the euphorbia. We have just added things to the bed all the way down. We put the anchors where we had them in the design and then added all the other pieces as like our filler as we go. I do like the annuals in here because it gives me some of that pretty flower power that I'm gonna need, because you know what, these deutzias aren't gonna bloom all summer. The Jacob's Ladder isn't going to bloom all summer, and neither are the foxglove. So I'm going to need some things to give me some color throughout. Now I will have my zinnias growing over here, and this is where I'm thinking about putting the crabapple tree. So we'll see. I'll still be able to do zinnias underneath it because it's going to be so small that everything will grow underneath it to begin with. All right, some things are falling over in the wind, but that's okay. I will go through and water everything, but you can see I did put one of the mangaves here with our autumn moorgrass, some alyssum, some thyme, some of the veronica, water perry blue. We're going to drop one of our junipers right here that we dug up from the back. See, and we're going to soften the edges here as well, and that's the entrance to the cottage garden. And so as we keep going down, you can see I did it on the other side as well. So as we walk along here, you can see we've got the deutzias, 3 in a row, and then we add some thyme, some water perry blue, some of the junipers, the mangaves. We've got a little sedona bowl that we can plant up and put in there. And we just keep going down the line, and we're just mixing everything together. That's why I'm like, if I throw a yellow down at the end, I don't know that that's going to look good because there's really no yellow. Now we do have the GMs in here, and this is the Tequila Sunrise, so it is a little bit of that, you know, orange color in here, but the flowers are small. When you plant black-eyed Susans, I mean, it's like a big patch of in your face, a lot of them. So I think I might find something else to put here. Maybe I'll just get another deutzia, a cherry blossom to put here, or maybe something else, we'll see. But I kind of ended the bed out with the thyme, but I'm not knowing that I want to do that. This is what happens when you don't stop the weeds after you cut the sod out. You just get more weeds. So that's why we had the fabric down, just so that we wouldn't get a ton of weeds coming up. But you can also see that I have a big area right here as I transition out of this bed that I need to plant something. Now there, I'm thinking about planting a sun hydrangea, like a paniculata. But my poor oak leaf hydrangea, bad Michelle. Oh, I practically killed this thing because I neglected to prune down the black lace elderberry. And now I am paying the price. These two hostas, I think I am going to dig them up. I think I'm going to move this one. This one, I think I'm going to split it and take half of it to another area and then put it back in the ground and just have one here so it doesn't look so crowded. Now, when I come down here, you can see I have a big area right here where I was going to put lungwort and I don't have anything in there. So I'm going to have to think about that. The other thing I did do was I did bring the foxglove down here so that I've got a couple down here, bringing it down the length of the bed. I will leave the blue hosta back here, and then I did add 4 more of the Heaven Sent Jacob's Ladder, and then we put the butterfly bush right there. This is our Jim Dandy winterberry right here. That's the male that pollinates my females, which are over here, and gives me the beautiful red berries in the winter. So you have to have the Jim Dandy or some kind of male to pollinate the females. All right, so that's kind of where we're at. Loving my statue. Isn't that great? Oh my gosh. I've never had a statue, so I'm so psyched that I was able to save up to get that. This is Diana. I love it. So what do you guys think? I think I'm liking it so far. I just got to get the boulders over here, get those in place. And then what I'm going to do is take a razor blade and I'm going to cut out the fabric on this side and leave the fabric here that we're going to put the rock on. That way we can plant right into the ground over here, because I do want to add some compost to this area before we plant it. So that's the plan as well. That's why I was like, I can't do this in one day. It's just too much for me, one little person, to do. All right, you guys, so that's all I'm going to get done for today. I've got to start getting ready for the Clem Garden Fair that is this weekend. I will be there on Saturday and Sunday, May 30th and June 1st. I love this garden fair. I go every year. This is my 12th time that I've gone. If you're in Rockford and you want to check out a good garden fair, pre-tickets are $10. If you go the day of the show, they're $12. It is a fundraiser because Clem Arboretum is a non-for-profit. So all the money that they make through ticket sales and vendor booth fees and things like that, it all goes towards the Arboretum and making it a beautiful place here in our city. So that's all I've got for today, you guys. If you're in Rockford, come see me at the booth. We're going to have some great deals and some absolutely beautiful plants. I hope you get your hands in the dirt today. I kind of sort of got my hands in the dirt, and we will check this out next week as we get it in the ground. All right, that's all I got. Weigh in, give me your thoughts, and we will catch you later. Bye, everyone.